All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Hard Hat Brigade Organizer Panel. My name is MrBill. I'm joined by Hydrox and COD Segfault. Unfortunately, M0nkeyDrag0n could not make the panel today. He has a conflicting talk, but we will mock him later in the slides. So what is the Hard Hat Brigade? If you looked at the hacker tracker, you can see we've got a pretty lengthy write-up about who we are and what we do. ChatGPT was awesome, totally encapsulated everything that we're about, but not really. We're just a group of people who like hats, and we try and combine that with art and technology. It all started with a pith helmet. If you're familiar with the HatChan project, there is a link at the end of this slide deck to that project. And I kind of got the idea from that to do something with a hard hat in an attempt to engage people. And that was back in 2017. So a little bit of history. As I mentioned, I made this hat, which is now 8 years old, in 2017. I wore it to Layer 1 conference in Pasadena as a trial run. And although I was very self-conscious and awkward, the response was really, really good. People just were like, wow, what's your hat do? I want to know more about everything that's going on with it. And it was great. I had a lot of conversations. It had no stickers on it, so all the stickers you see came later. But that was from further engagement throughout the years. And then in 2017, I wore it to DEF CON. And again, I got a lot of really good response. So in 2018, I brought it, and then I noticed other people started making hats, which was wonderful. And that's kind of how we grew organically from the beginning. Just engaging people one-on-one as I was walking around the conference floor or going from place to place. And that is one of the hazards of having a hard hat, is you will get stopped and people will engage you. So while it's a hazard, it's also an intended effect, right? Smartphones are killing conversations, and hard hats with, believe it or not, even just some stickers or a flashing light on it are getting people to actually hold conversations again. I didn't realize that this was going to grow into what it is today, but it's just been a great ride. 2019, we held an unofficial contest because that's how we do things at DEF CON. We don't want to bow to DEF CON's authority. So we just kind of ran as an ad hoc group that year, and we had a contest. We had over 20 entries that we documented, interviewed, and then we selected an overall winner, which was probably early lessons learned about how people were doing their hard hats. It did take a significant amount of time to interview anybody, but it was absolutely worth it. 2020 was when the bad times happened, so we just left that out. In 2021, because things were not back to normal and people weren't doing things in person, there is a little bit of overlap between the Hard Hat Brigade and war driving. So we decided, let's host a 24-hour war driving event. DEF CON traditionally has a worldwide war driving contest just prior to DEF CON. And so we kind of spaced ours out a little bit, and we hold ours on the second week of October. We make it convenient for folks. It's not during any holidays. And it's only 24 hours instead of the 4 to 7 days that the worldwide war drive is. Overall, really good response there as well. So we continue to do that every year as another way to engage the hard hat community and just war drivers in general. You don't have to have a hat to join, but yeah, we're open to everybody. 2022 brought everybody back, and we had set up another unofficial contest, but due to all the travel restrictions and there were still like social distancing rules and things like that, it was the contest that didn't happen. We planned for it. We used all the same rules. And then when we showed up to DEF CON, there was only a few of us that were there and not many hats because there just wasn't that many people. DEF CON that year, I think, probably only had like 5,000 people in a space that it was holding 25,000 before. So it was definitely small. 2023, another unofficial contest. I think DEF CON was probably starting to notice us by that point, because that's when they started to engage us a little bit more. We did hold a contest, but it was, again, very difficult to choose winners. We had a great turnout and our numbers continue to grow. 2024 brought the community status. We got prompted by instigators like El Cantaro, if you ever meet him. He's a wonderful person who really pushes people to make and break things and expand their horizons, and we thank him for that. So I hope he watches this video. But with a community space, we had floor space here in the convention center, and the that led to a lot of engagement from people walking by. If you remember that from last year, and while it was really good from that perspective, it did kind of keep us constrained. So this year we elected to be the roving band of hat enthusiasts, and tried something out a little bit different, where we convinced DEF CON that it was okay to give us free badges and just let us do our thing. So DEF CON, if you're watching this, thank you so much. We'll probably be making some adjustments, but that's something we'll discuss afterwards. But yeah, that brings us up to today. So again, why the Hard Hat Brigade? It's just bringing people together, really to discuss making things, doing hands-on work, exploring technology and techniques, and seeing what other people make and saying, you know what, that's really cool. How did you do that? Because I want to do that too. Or maybe I have a different twist or a different possibility. The hard hats came about only because they're very cheap and easy, and the bar of entry is very low, because anybody can go get a hard hat and you can just do whatever you want with it. The big thing is pushing people out of their comfort zones. If you are a tech person who's never worn a hard hat in your job, putting one on and then walking around with one in Las Vegas will definitely move you out of your comfort zone. Would you agree with that, gentlemen? Yeah. Okay, but I'm the shy one. So who are we? I'm MrBill. I am the founder of Hard Hat Brigade, just pure out of chance. The other folks that joined me, M0nkeyDrag0n, who's not here, he is my right-hand person, also probably considered a co-founder. We call him an organizer as well, because we're a team of 5 people who try to make this all work. Segfault, or 6 people, COD Segfault, Hydrox, and then 2 of our members who were not here, Aramond and Kobeski. They couldn't make it this year, but they're here in spirit. They were on the second place, right, Hacker Jeopardy team last year, which 2 years ago, apologies, with Segfault. Absolute rockin' Hacker Jeopardy performance. It was great. The Hard Hat Brigade is also you. Everybody who's in this room is the Hard Hat Brigade. You just need a hat. But you can, even if you don't have a hat, you can come along. It's fine. It kind of grew into this little subculture at DEF CON, and you may have noticed there are other little subcultures at DEF CON, like goons are a subculture of DEF CON. Okay, maybe they're not a little subculture, but you know, there's other groups that kind of coalesce together. You've got your policy wonks, you've got your blue teamers, your red teamers, your embedded systems folks. Badge Life is another actually Badge Life is a really good subculture that overlaps with us as well. So on this screen are various other hats that we managed to document in the past couple years. And slides will be available later on the media server, but it's going to be a little bit because I finished them this morning. This is a group photo from last year when we had the space, which was really good. We had a great turnout, like I said. But now it's this talk is more about the organizers and our journey here, because we all have a different story to tell. So I think I'm going to pass it off to Segfault first. And if you remember the questions, I hope you can tell us your story because it's awesome.
All right. Like Bill said, I'm COD Segfault. This is now my 4th year at DEF CON doing Hard Hat Brigade. During the pandemic, when couldn't go anywhere, Mark Rober actually ran a storytelling engineering online course that I happened to stumble across. And the final project in there, or one of the projects, was like do some sort of art piece. And I chose to get a motorcycle helmet, put a whole bunch of LEDs on it, make it reactive to audio, had microphones in it, had a jack in it that I could just plug directly into some sort of just a phone, synthesizer, you name it, anything with an audio jack output. And then I had the wonderful idea that I was going to bring that to DEF CON. Don't bring a full face mask motorcycle helmet to try and wear around in Vegas all day long. It's not a good idea. But in doing that, I did run into other hardware on your head enthusiasts, and got to speaking with them because, I mean, something on your head at the time wasn't very common. So they're like, you know what? You know what's better than that? A hard hat. So I got my hard hat, and I had grand ideas. I'm like, what's the most absurd thing that I could possibly put on a hard hat? I'm like, I'm going to build a 3D printer and put it on my head. So I work on my 3D printer. It's now, I start on it like the October before, like right after. So like I'm really all in, giving myself plenty of engineering time, sourcing parts, putting it all together. I get a printer where all the individual components work, start mounting it to my head. It's about 3 weeks before DEF CON, and I'm like, okay, well, it's at the point I could put it on my head. Too heavy. Far, far, far too heavy. I'm like, I'm going to break my neck. So then I pivoted last minute, switched everything, 3-week scramble, and I built my fallback plan. I put an analog synthesizer on my head. I had the PCB on the back of it, so everybody could see everything soldered to it, and then ran wires to all the switches and knobs meticulously on the inside of the hat so the outside would be nice and clean. I pulled it off. Everything worked. It was a really good con. Walked around, really kind of got to know MrBill, M0nkeyDrag0n, a few other people. Like he said, like Bill had already said, it was a pretty light year. Not everybody was comfortable coming back yet. Masks were still required. So like there was a little bit of that personal loss, not being able to see people's faces, but stuck with it. Was asked, because of my enthusiasm with really trying to get the community to grow, I was asked to be an organizer. So I took them up on the offer, And the following year, so ThoughtCon, if you're unfamiliar, is a HackerCon in Chicago. They run every other year. And Hacker Jeopardy makes an appearance at ThoughtCon. So Aramond and Kabisky were both coming to ThoughtCon. I was like, hey, bring your hats. I'm signing us up for Hacker Jeopardy. And we made our Hacker Jeopardy debut there. And we won. And then we signed up again for Hacker Jeopardy here at DEF CON. We won the first round on Friday night. And then we went on to the final round, ended up taking second place. I am told that it was a really amazing show that we put on. I remember like the first 25% of each night. The second night, my best guess was like 10 to 14 beers that I consumed myself. So I don't remember most of it, but it was a good time from what I remember. And then, last year we had our community. I built the Doom hat because everything runs Doom. It's an actual 386 class PC, not a Raspberry Pi, running MS-DOS 622, only 4 megabytes of RAM. I really wanted to go with the let's run Doom on a hard hat with like period correct hardware with as many constraints as possible, and had to learn. I started off this project really bad at CAD. Now I'm less bad at CAD. Not good at CAD. I don't think I'll ever be good at CAD. But yeah, now we're here today and this year and continuing on. I think I'm going to pass it over to Hydrox now.
Thank you. And thank you all for ignoring the pager and making it all the way to the talk. I want to appreciate that. I'm Hydrox. I've been doing, I think my first hat was in 2022 as well. And then, that was the first hat. And you called it an unofficial contest, but I have a very official looking trophy on my shelf at home. So I do want to amend the record on that. But anyway, my first hat was in 2022. My hats always have some kind of backstory and character. Admittedly, I leaned way too hard on it in the first year, and it had a wig and a fake mustache, and it was ridiculous looking. The second year, toned it way down, had a nice clean looking hat that was black. People liked that one. That was the good mix. And then I kind of did another adjustment for the next year. It was the big 8-bit eyes, if you remember that one, if you've been here for a few years. It had the big 8-bit eyes that would react to the Wi-Fi and cry and laugh or whatever, look confused based on what was happening in the crazy Wi-Fi environment. So that was that hat. And I modified that for a while. And then this year is the new hat. I know, it's not crazy at all. I leaned too hard in this one. It is a honey bear that is, you can boop its nose. You can feel free to come up and boop its nose afterwards. Get a line. But it's also a live on the internet SSH honeypot. So if you go to the web address, you can SSH directly into the hard hat from the internet. Messages you show, I'm afraid to say online, will show on my hard hat. Waiting for the penises or something to show up, but no, okay. So yeah, you'll see the messages scroll down. It's a full-on honeypot, and so those are the hats that I've done. I mean, kind of looking back on the years with stuff I've learned, 3D modeling too. I'll add that. My first hat was bolted on and screwed in, and now this one is modeled directly to the 3D, the image of the hat and things like that. So definitely a lot of that. Software challenges are always super fun. Trying to, write a honeypot from scratch. None of the open source ones, shockingly, none of the open source ones were perfect for a hard hat. So I had to write my own. So writing a from scratch honeypot was kind of fun. A lot of just, weird challenges come up when you're trying to make something that is interesting, hopefully interesting, on a hard hat, and dealing with the memory constraints and the fact that my neck can only hold so much, and again, trying to come up with a backstory that makes sense that I can explain to someone in 5 seconds before their line moves or whatever it is here, right? So there's a lot of constraints, and I find constraints on a project to be more interesting, right? If it's do anything you want, I'm frozen. If it's do anything you want, a bunch of rules, okay, and that's more interesting. That's a puzzle, right? And so that's really what I like about the hard hats, and seeing designs are super fun. I'll add that. I mean, that was part of the initial goal of this hat was, while I love it too, but a lot of hard hats are very dark and cyberpunk and LED lights and stuff. And I thought last year, after seeing so many amazing hats, one of the coolest things to do would be completely punk rock it and make one that's super cute and not black and it has fuzzy ears and has a little smile and just, what the hell? I've never seen one like that, so let's do that. So kind of playing with what everyone else is doing and dealing with constraints. It's a fun project. And what I've got out of the most is what Bill said too, is I'm not the most outgoing person. So that's why, frankly, I like to do talks and conferences. I like to, oh, sorry, am I not getting it? Sorry. I would say that one of the benefits, I'll back up slightly, is I'm not the most outgoing person. I like to do talks. I like to wear honey bears on my head so that people come up and ask him things and talk about stuff and have conversations, and that is really successful, right? The hard hats have been really successful with that, and so it's been a great 4 years, I guess. Yeah, 4 years, and I'm sure we'll maybe the honey bat next year, maybe something else. I don't know. But that's the fun part too, is I don't know what's going to happen next. And it's always been a really fun element of DEF CON.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. So for me, I think I kind of touched on it in the beginning, which was I basically had some pie parts, a hard hat, and was looking for a way to engage people. And that's how I got started. But it really turned into more of a journey. It's like this hat, very rough, fragile. It's being held together by glue, hot glue, some double-sided stick tape. I did bolt some things through the hat. Thank God for stickers, because I covered all the holes that I made that didn't line up or didn't match. And, I actually scrapped one hat and then got another one when I thought I knew what I was doing. But yeah, it's really a journey. Every hat for me has been a journey. I've got 4 hats and one is done. I traditionally don't ever finish a hat. But it's kind of always a work in progress. You wear what you got, and you might be inspired or learn a new way to finish the hat that you're working on, or new ideas for other hats. But yeah, for me, the learning part is always kind of an extra. I mean, I think I know something until I actually start putting my hands on it and trying to put it all together and make it work. And then I have to learn how to 3D print better. I'm definitely not good at CAD. In fact, I often try and beg MrBill to do the CAD work for me. But he gently pushes me in the right direction and, to get me going. It helps me out with the tools that I need. I get inspiration from these hats. I mean, I absolutely love it. I got into 3D printing. Didn't think I was ever going to be 3D printing because I had friends with 3D printers. Why would I need to do 3D printing? Well, that's another avenue of learning, additive manufacturing, other techniques with finish work. I mean, just hats themselves are difficult to work with. I probably use my Dremel more than ever in the past 3 years just on hats. But yeah, it's just been a real journey from that perspective. Lately has been more microcontroller focused. I mean, everybody plays with Arduinos a little bit. You make the light flash. But now we're working with ESP32s for war driving. And I hate programming, but I'm kind of warming to it now because I can see what a microcontroller can do. So yeah, it's just been one thing after another. to get me to this point. So luckily, I have a lot of support from the community. We share tips, we share tricks, we share our failures. Last year, or no, not was it last year? 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was working on my final touches on a hat. It was a carbon fiber black one with exposed brass wire and a bunch of ESP32s. And I was so frustrated that it didn't work because it was literally Thursday before DEF CON. And I was like in a hurry to finish it. You should never be in a hurry. I called MrBill. I'm like, dude, I can't show my face with this hat. And he's like, yeah, you can. Everybody here has the same problems. We're all human. Wear the hat. And so I wore the hat that didn't work. And I still got a huge response out of it. And then we talked about how to fix it. And then people were telling me, maybe this is where you went wrong. You should try this next time. And it was just like, oh, wow. I was still engaging people, and I was still learning, and they were sharing what they knew, and I was sharing what mistakes I made so that they wouldn't make it if they had never made a hat like that. And like I said, that's just a huge part of why we do it and how we got here. So yeah, I guess I wanted to go back and ask, what drives you to build more? Because that's like our final question on this slide, and I'm not sure. I mean, it's like an overarching theme. Do you have anything to add as far as like what really drives you to continue?
I mean, I guess I'll kind of echo a little bit with what Bill was saying. Like, what drives me to build more, and also what Hydrox said, just kind of pushing outside of my comfort zone. The working with limitations. If I have unlimited resources to do something, it's boring. I want to try something that I've not done before. I want to work with something new tech, or in this case, really old tech, and just try to push my skills. And I'm not afraid to talk about where I failed. And if it would have been safe to do, like what I talked about, my failed hat, I would have worn it too, but like it wasn't worth injuring myself. So I did pivot in that instance, but, I just, not even just with hats, but my curiosity is always like, okay, well, what can I do? How can I push the limits? What's something that somebody hasn't necessarily done before? Or, oh, somebody's done it. How can I do it differently? How can I do it better? And there's a lot of things like we do things not because they're easy, but because we thought they would be easy. And, yeah, it's, the journey is just as much as the destination in any sort of maker project. And like the hats are just a really awesome way to show off what you've worked on, so it doesn't just get stuck on your desk at home. And yeah, that's kind of what's driving me to keep going with it.
I agree with everything he just said, actually, too. But to give you a second answer, I would say the community, which sounds a little sappy, maybe, but the community, and I view the hard hats as almost like a performance, right? Like I want it to be interesting. I want people to be surprised by it. You know, like I said, I saw all the design one direction, so I went the completely opposite direction. If I think of an idea and I don't see it for a couple DEF CONs, and I'm like, oh, that's the one, because I kind of want it to be, you know, the other side of where everyone's going, because I feel like that's the most interesting thing. And so I would say performance maybe is what kind of makes me always trying to think of new ideas and come up with a new thing, and to hopefully get a good shock factor when I come to here or layer one or whatever it is.
Yeah, and some of those things happen by accident. I think last year was pretty wild when we had 50 hard hats that were blanks that we gave out to people. And some of the things that some of the folks did in the space of 2 days was just beyond amazing. I mean, the community continues to not just inspire us, but also surprise us in ways that we never knew were going to happen. And I mean, I guess they're happy accidents, right? It's like, oh, wow, this actually looks really good. Didn't realize that, you know, these white hats can shine light through them, some of them, or, oh, oops, I didn't want any light escaping. So now I have to somehow figure out how to make the interior opaque, right? So there's always these twists and turns that happen. It's a choose your own adventure where you have to pay the consequences of your actions sometimes, especially with the Dremel. The Dremels are very dangerous. I'll just put that out there. Oh, yeah, with an unbalanced hat.
Pay for that for weeks.
Do not ever take a hard hat, sit crisscross and cradle it, and then try and Dremel at it, because you have arteries in your legs. Don't forget that. Yeah. So our message to you, go out and build something, anything. You can tape it to a hard hat and you're in the Hard Hat Brigade. It's that easy. It doesn't even have to be a hard hat. Thank you for reminding me. The Soft Hat Brigade and the Hard Hat Brigade have a truce. No, I'm kidding. There is no Soft Hat Brigade. Originally, our rules were such that it was you had to have a regular hard hat. We were trying to stay true to like linemen and, you know, construction hard hats. We didn't allow the cowboy hard hat. Nobody has been brave enough to bring one yet. Not throwing that out there as a challenge, but, you know, maybe. I'm sorry, what was that?
Somebody who doesn't do things that other people do.
Oh,
I do have one in my Amazon cart. I will say that there is a cowboy hard hat in my Amazon cart. It's been there for about 8 months.
yeah. For people who who always follow the rules, right? So DerbyCon was another conference. It was in Kentucky that they had a derby hat contest, and since that con was retired, we started allowing all hats. So, you know, whatever you got for headwear, let's put some bling on it, put some wares on it, and bring it out. I mean, and if you feel like you're intimidated by the idea of like some of the more advanced things that people are doing now, I mean, start small. I put these parts together, made sure they worked, and then somehow just figured out how to mount them on the outside of the hat. It's not. I mean, I still learned, like, some glues don't work great. Nylon standoffs are a little, probably not the best structural choice, things of that nature. Wiring never is going to go the way you think it is, but don't be afraid to do it. Don't be afraid to experiment. And do not be afraid to talk to others. If you see a hard hat walk past you at this conference that you have not talked to, just go say hi. Say, I think your hat looks good. Ask questions. Just engage on whatever level you think you want to, because that's what we're here for. And we're hoping that we grow the community such that, you know, maybe someday we'll displace the goons and run the place. All right. We have like 2 minutes or 3 minutes. We have 4 minutes for questions. Yes.
Oh, that's his question.
I'm the only one here who flies, so I will answer that question. So I brought my hats in carry-on. They slowed down while x-raying it, but ultimately just didn't care. It's just, there's less electronics in this than like a portable, like a laptop. So it just looks like any old electronics. Even my synthesizer hat, which probably has a 1/4 mile of wire in it, the one time I got asked by an agent, it was like, okay, what is it? You're not in trouble, I'm just curious. So like, you just tell them it's an art piece because they're all art pieces. And they're like, oh, okay, that's cool. And they just wave you on.
Go ahead. Where do I want to take the hard hat? Where do we want to take the hard hat is probably a better question. How far? My dream? Oh, my dream doesn't matter. I mean, collectively, I think we're just gonna. I think collectively we want to continue to push the limits of what a hard hat can and can't do. Obviously, don't use these for safety. Once you like put a hole in it, it's already done. And also, you can find recycled hard hats at some job sites because they have, you know, maybe a blemish or something. But where do we want to go? I guess we'll find out next year because you'll show us where we're going to go, right? Everybody here? I see some heads nodding up and down, and I'm really liking that. Maybe one more question. Okay. Well, thank you for coming. I hope you're having a wonderful DEF CON. And we will be wandering around. Segfault and I have a talk in another village at 4:30. But we'll probably be hanging around if you have any other questions or you just want to chat. Here's some references. You can hit the QR code that will take you to hardhat.rocks, which is our website. All our socials are on there. And thanks again. Have a great day.